What is up, everybody? I just want to make a quick video. Something that I've heard from a couple of people the last few days, and I've got an opinion on this, and it may not be correct, but it's just a perspective, and maybe someone can take something away from it. So, the piece that people were covering or talking about was who should I take advice from, and how should I know if I should take that person's advice. And I think for me, I have two rules. There's only two people I should take advice from. They're either filling one of these two filters. One of them is they're attached to the outcome. Whatever they're giving me advice on means, whatever they're giving me advice on, they are going to be around for the consequences of that, and maybe even affected by the consequences of that. It's incentive for them to give me good advice, and it keeps it from being just cheap words that a stranger can throw out at you versus somebody who's on your team or in the trenches with you. They're going to suffer the consequences of what they're telling you to do. So sometimes that might be the better person to take, advice from or get a perspective from. I think filter number two would be the person is at where you'd like to be. Okay. And there's a difference between that and someone who's been where you're at. So there's a difference between, again, someone who's been where you are currently and what you're needing advice on versus someone who represents what you want to be like. Just because someone's been where you're at doesn't mean that they handled that properly or that they're a good person to take advice from. There's a great quote from this book called The Greatest Salesman in the World, and it says, "Be wary of experience. It's often old men nodding wisely and speaking ignorantly." And what that quote means to me is just that, you have to be careful. A lot of people, just because it worked for them doesn't mean it'll work for you. And, it only got them as far as they are. So just because someone spent a lot of time doing something, in a particular space or solving a particular kind of problem, that doesn't mean it's the best way to solve it. They've just spent a lot of time doing it, and that's not the same. Time is not the same thing as success. So it's important to remember that. So again, putting it through the two filters, is it someone who's at where I'd like to be, someone who represents what I'd like to become in this kind of problem solving? Do they model the kind of relationship that I want to have with my partner? Do they model the kind of business that I'm trying to replicate, right now? Do they model the kind of self-discipline, if I'm taking self-discipline advice from them, are they living that? And then number two, if they aren't, are they at least attached to my outcome? Are they at least going to be around for the consequences of what they're telling me to do? Or is it just, people throwing stones from the cheap seats? And you gotta pay attention and put it through that filter, because it's really easy to start overweighing other people's advice and start putting way too much, value in what people are saying, when realistically, they're not going to be around for it, or they're not even embodying, the results of what you'd like to replicate in your own life. So something to think about. It's helped me filter out a lot of bullshit that I thought was wisdom from other people, and maybe it'll do the same thing for you. So have a great day.